today. Huh? So, Ganti, and give your introduction, okay?
Good afternoon, everyone. So, my name is Ganti S Murthy. I'm a professor at IIT Indore, and right now the national coordinator for the Indian Knowledge Systems Division, which is a independent division of the Ministry of Education. With regards to the global population, energy, whether we talk about climate change, health, and whether we are talking about plant health, animal health, or human health, all of those things, and information exchanges, and then the global order. We can't ignore the politics and the geopolitics of the whole thing. So these are all the mega trends that are going to govern. What is a mega trend? Mega trend is something that is so big that no individual person, community, or country can control. It is something that is like a Jagannath Rasa. Once it moves, there is nothing that can stop it. These are some of the mega trends that are going on. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So, biggest existential challenge that we are facing is how do we feed a population of 10 billion in the next 25 years? We are talking about Amrit Kaal in India. 25 years will be a great place of churning and all that. But essentially, on development, path to development, that is very aspirational and very important. But also concerning at the same time is that we are also going to be in a world of 10 billion with increasingly shrinking resources. How are we going to feed them? In a very good place right now, despite four-fold increase in our population from 33 crores around 1947 to 1.4 billion today, and all the problems that we had in 1960s in terms of starvation and all the kinds of problems. Today morning we had basically paid our respects to great Dr. Swaminathan, who helped us with the Green Revolution, which actually made India self-sufficient. Because the independence of a country, the first expression of that is ability to eat food and produce our own food and control the food production. And so, despite the four-fold increase in the population, we are in a good place today. And India is also not just a big country. Although we are only 5% of the land area, we have the 5% of the land area. We have 12% of the biodiversity. It's a biodiversity hotspot for the whole world. So all of these things that we talk about, climate change, all of these things will impact us in a big way, and these have ramifications not just for our country but also for the whole world. And of course, we all know that the green revolution had come with a lot of costs. We are all aware of depleting soil organic carbon, increasing use of fertilizers, nutrient leaching, groundwater pollution, depletion, overuse of pesticides, loss of biodiversity, and so on, and most importantly, loss of seed security as well. These are all the consequences and some of the unintended consequences of the Green Revolution. Next slide, please. And we always talk about sustainability. But my fundamental question, today my talk is going to be kind of provoking you to think about these things. When we talk about the trajectories that we are moving, they are inherently unsustainable. That means the rate at which we are consuming the resources, the rate at which that is already on an unsustainable track is something that is going to be very, very important for all of us in ag engineers, especially ag engineers, to think about. And because you can see many of these boundaries, planetary boundaries, have already been reached. A few years ago, there were only 3 of them that were reached, and a 5-year update, all of them, many more have been reached. Next slide, please. And this is a question that I want to pose to you. Crop production today. I'm not talking about milk, I'm not talking about vegetables, I'm not talking about fruits. How much time do you think we will have before we run out of grains to feed the world? Any guesses, students? How much time do you think we have? If I stop crop production today, how much time do I have just to talk about wheat and rice? 90 days. 90 days. Imagine that. Essentially, that is one cropping season. That is all the flexibility that we have. a lot of the optimization that we have done, the global network that we have created for efficient exchange of goods and economic trade and these things have led to something called loss of resilience in the whole system. That is, like as if I had two kidneys and I have lost one now. I'm functioning on one kidney only. And what does that make us susceptible to? It makes us very susceptible to things are globally connected. A drought or a war in Ukraine is going to impact us. A drought in Australia is going to impact us. Midwest of US, if their corn production goes down, it is going to impact us. All of these things are very, very interrelated. So we are becoming more and more fragile. We are losing resilience in the entire system. Although it may seem that we have increased the production, we are even at a small changes in the next slide, please. And why is that important? We are talking about climate change. And all of these things, as agriculturists, we already know that the seasons have shifted and things like that. What is a popular perception? It is that if there is a current state of the green, lush, green forest, when it changes, it becomes like that desert. It doesn't happen in one day. There are cycles. There are cycles of fantastic book by Professor Nassim Nicholas Taleb. Must have read a book by his book called Black Swan. Very popular book about managing risk. And he wrote another book called Fragile, Anti-Fragile. So what is anti-fragile? Essentially, it is systems that inherently increase the resilience. They're not just resilient, but increase the resilience. And to look at systems that have been functional for thousands of years. Because if you look at a agriculture system that has been practiced for thousands of years, then what is it? They must have gone through multiple cycles of drought. It is not an impossible thing that they would have not seen a 10-year drought or a 12-year drought or floods. And they must have developed all kinds of strategies to next slide, please. So this is a photograph of cave paintings in Tibet, which are very near to my place near Bhopal. So it's a more than 35,000 years old cave painting. And people have been living in that Narmada Valley and then these areas for a long time. And if you look at archaeological evidence, I'm not talking about textual evidence, I'm talking about archaeological evidence of agriculture in India. It goes at least back to 10,000 years. That is the end of the last ice age. Since then, we have had continuous agriculture in India. And the first year of domestication was about wheat, then barley, then it came to smaller like millets like ragi, then we had probably around 4,000 years ago, 3,000 years ago in India. That's when it was domesticated. Probably simultaneously it was also domesticated in China too. And if you look at the textual evidence of agriculture, even the earliest of the Vedas, which is the Rig Veda, the Kshetra Sutta is specifically about agriculture. That is where Arvatis Vage Gho Sita Vande Vanda Mahetva. That is where the word Sita. Sita is essentially nothing but the plowshare, the sharp end of the plowshare. And that's where it occurs. And then if you look into Bhruguvalli, and I see that even the Hevakya of this university is Annam Bahum Purvita Vratam. Produce more food. That may not be your vision in life. Annam Brahmeti Vyajanat. Annam na Nindya. Do not disparage food. Annam na Parikshita. Don't waste food. Don't disparage it. Produce a so that you can distribute it to others. This is the biggest service that we as agriculture engineers do to the society. Even if you look at the 1900s, for every 92% of the population was involved in agriculture. Now we are only 2 people, 2%. This is what leaves other 98% to go and invent their Apple, iPhones and all that stuff. We don't do our job, they will not be able to do our job. This is so there are several verses like this. And then I want to point out another thing from Chamaka Prashna of Krishna Yajurveda. There they say, Suyavastame, Annamchame, Akshastame, Vrihayastame, Yavastame, Mashastame, Tilastame, Mudgastame, Khalvastame, Godhuvastame, Nivarastame. These are all names of the Greeks. And if I wanted to look into three of these things, Vrihi means any variety of rice. Anvaha means the special rice, that normal rice, domesticated rice that we use. And Nivara refers to the wild rice that is available. If they were able to do this thing at the time of Krishna Yajurveda, you can think about all of this, how antiquated the agriculture in India is. Why am I mentioning all of this? I'm making a point that the antiquity of the agriculture every 400 years, 500 years, there have been texts. And not just in Sanskrit. They have been in Malayalam, they have been in Kannada, they have been in Farsi. You can actually find it in all kinds of languages across all countries. And it's not just a theoretical discussion. They talk about plowing, furrowing, specifically furrowing, seeding, cultivation, irrigation, weeding, harvesting. How do you classify crops? And all of these things, how do you manage pests? All of these things indicate a very high level of expertise in agriculture. Next slide, please. Who sent these gazetted notes to Britishers back home from India in around 17th or 18th centuries? What they were really finding was that there were different types of plows in India for different types of soils. Traditional plows, very different, and they were only tilling 5 to 10 centimeters. That is what we call these days as reduced till and all that. And they were light and optimized for the drudgery of both animals and the people. Whereas they were very different. Each of them has their own different methods. Next slide, please. And then there are several publications like this for secondary sources and also a book by Professor Subraya and also something that is very valuable. Next slide, please. Even on our own, IKEA has done tremendous work in this. Unfortunately, it is not very well known among people. And they have done a tremendous work from 2001 to 2007. And they have come up with 5 volumes of the documentation where they have taken a lot of agriculture knowledge is in the terms of oral knowledge, right? So they have actually gone in and documented more than 2,000 oral practices. And then can you go back, please? Taken them, verified them in those regions. So for example, if the practice is in Uttar Pradesh, so they will actually do that and see whether it is still valid in Uttar Pradesh. Then they did a cross-validation. So the same practice would be validated in Karnataka, Udaipur, in Rajasthan and Northeast. To see whether it is valid. And they have done that. And when they have done that, they have found, done that for about 200 of the 2,000 practices. They have found that more than 80% of the practices are still valid. These are our own agriculture scientists from ICA who have done these studies. And they have proved that at least 80% are still valid and less than some 5-6% are not valid anymore. So there are all these kinds of practices that we can use. Next slide, please. What do these texts contain? Next slide, please. So kind of all of these things, this is a text of Vriksha Ayurveda, just as an example. Next slide, please. You can see how they talk about diseases are internal and external, different causes. They use the same Ayurveda framework for the internal diseases, but then they talk about insects, cold weather, all of those things for the external diseases. And then there are beautiful methods for fumigation, actually. And then natural indications for water. And also, we have to be careful. I'll give you one example and then stop there. In the Vriksha Ayurveda, there is talk about something called a Kunapa. Kunapa Jala, which is made from the waste meat, bones, all that essentially, and then any protein source, carbohydrate source, or sugar source essentially. Go back. Okay. And is this mumbo jumbo? Does it work? Why does it work? How can we improve it? We actually did some studies in our lab and we found that it is what as well, and then some fatty acids. All of these things are actually nourishing to the soil microbiome. And it's actually when you spray it as a foliar spray or you do it as a root spray, it improves the health plant health. We did that some experiment for 2 years in greenhouses of spinach. We found the very, very good results comparable to urea and any synthetic fertilizers. There are things that we can learn from this. Then my three takeaways would be that we need to understand the traditional wisdom in India. This will not be done by Sanskrit scholars. Please note that. They are only interested in the language. It requires technical knowledge and technical skills to understand these texts. These are technical texts. So it is our job to look at these so that we can get some methods and validate them using our methods, modern methods, to validate their effectiveness for today's context, and then integrate that traditional wisdom with the current understanding to create a more resilient India and world in agriculture. Thank you so much. Namaste.
I also want to recognize, we refer to Vraksha Ayurveda a lot. There is the Asian Agri History Foundation is doing a lot of research which Ganti is referring to, and we Kurapjal is one of the main products which we have come out with for disease and pest control, very effective, and also nutrition. So I think as a partner, I'll personally hand over to this. Thank you. Thank you.
Useful for the University of Agriculture, and what are the further perspectives those which I have learned from my past experience. I'm just going to share it, that how the drones are applications, drones and its applications are useful to the current scenario as we expect automation. Looking at the perspective, we have a very much privilege that Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, who is from the agriculture engineering field, and I have always been guided to make the kinds of innovation, kinds of establishment of such a system which will be sustaining to the new generation. And this is what I placed that present scenario in the ICR system. We are first in the technical front to make all our physical presentations with robots. Next, we have a project of 17.87 crores. This project is aiming to first of all introduce that agricultural robotics as an agriculture robot, robotics as agri-bots, agricultural drones as agri-drones, agricultural automatic guided vehicles as agri-AGV, and we have an interdisciplinary approach to make the participation of the traditional agricultural practitioners who are having a lot of think tanks with their experience to materialize it into the automation. So making up this automation to sustainable kind of achievement. And that way we have made the climate-based digital knowledge support system as a CDKS, seedling processing nursery automation as SSPN, smart portable machinery center as SPM, food processing automation center as FPA, instrumentation cell which will make the introduction to all digital technological equipment that we are going to develop next. So in this scenario, we made our approach, and we have made a dedicated infrastructure as a DFS RDA, which has been now we are looking at to make the center of digital classrooms, and all the time we are ready to make an online discussions, interactions for the PG PhD students. Or even right now, graduate students have started working to develop their own drones. So we have more than 26 students yet up till now went to abroad. They stayed there for 1 month. When I was here for as a visiting researcher faculty, I mentored 21 students who are doing their research in drone, and it was a NASA project where the drone was expected to make the all hyperspectral imagery sensors to make the quantification of biomass, which will be useful for a government to as it is not available in the market. So students make their own design, they get the camera fixed up and enjoy it as their own technology. Students should learn that whatever the things that are lacunas in the design, they experience and they get it again correct it to the proper way. Once it is get finalized, then that part component can be copied. That can be a these all photographs are from our center, we have experience, and we are doing practices to make the automation such that which will be feasible for the farming system. Next. Yeah, the drone hardware is very, it was in discussion. The drone hardware we are supposed to borrow from China. China has firstly took initiative to create such components which are cheaply. They are bringing this component from the China market. But now our India has also started making their own hardware setups. Next. So I do expect that these are all technical sections where we have seen the contribution. 42.9 is that, or we are just now seeing that a photography image processing that attracts to the society. Next. Yeah, this is UAV and UGV, what differences we have supposed to discuss many times. Next. This is all. Next. Yeah, this is our facility where that we are doing in our horticulture, entomology, vegetable plant science department. Next. Next. Yeah, back to this. This is in our meteorology department. Dr. Next. This is a lab where we have a testing kind of thing, mechatronics lab, then hydraulics pneumatics lab, solar system applications, solar system drone, how can we use it? So those are things that we are doing that. Next. This is the SMC SCADA system where we can learn those automation system for the agriculture purpose. Students can have their own small projects. Next. Yeah, this is click on. This is a short.
Transplantation by the drone, carrying from one point to another, putting the hole or placing properly, manual work is required or everything is done automatically?
No, I'm talking about the I'm talking about the transplantation after.
I think we can have this discussion on lunchtime. Okay, can you play the video, please? I think there's some problem with the system. On a road, I kept it on the drone, drafted all the regulations also. Dr. Sinde. Thank you very much. Okay. Now, the efficiencies of drones have to come to your presentation also. Make sure the things work. Okay. Next, Dr. Anand Jambe. Is he here? Oh, good, good. So please introduce yourself. Now, all the time the speakers take, they are taking our time from lunch, okay? So I expect them a little more efficient because otherwise, rather than blessings, you respected Dr. Tejendra Singh sir, Dr. Indramani sir, my professor, sir, all delegates, and my college mates and students. Today, I'm going to talk to you about my organization under Ministry of Agriculture, what we are doing in the field of precision agriculture technology for popularization in India. So, presently, I'm working as an executive director for National Committee on Precision Agriculture and Horticulture, NCPH, under Ministry of Agriculture, New Delhi. Recently, NCPH received a Scotch Award for a project on impact of micro irrigation, water saving technology. Thank you. So basically, NCPH, it was formed in 1981 with the name of National Committee on Use of Plastics in Agriculture, NCPH, under the Ministry of Petroleum and Petrochemicals. In 1993, it was shifted to Ministry of Agriculture. In 2001, NCPA was reconstituted as National Committee on Plasticulture Applications in Horticulture, NCPH, under Ministry of Agriculture. In 2020, when we had a is your area of operations in entire precision agriculture. So our committee was renamed as National Committee on Precision Agriculture and Horticulture since 2020. So this is our organism. Honorable Agriculture Minister is the chairman of NCPH. Horticulture Commissioner, Minister of Agriculture, he is the member secretary. We have members from various department secretaries like Panchayat Raj, Rural Development, Jal Shakti Ministry. So all those secretaries are member of NCPH with some state nodal officers from progressive farmers, etc. Our key achievements in past some years, if we see, the estimation of cost norms and procedural modalities for plasticulture components for operational guidelines under Government of India studies for micro irrigation for highlighting gap areas during the last 3 plan periods for Government of India. Conduct of international and national seminars on micro irrigation, precision farming, fertigation, solar MI integration, local bamboo greenhouses, and allied areas. We are providing technical support to states through SLEC, joint inspection teams, as well as participation in SLC and SLEC meets for artificial lighting as well. So policy for empanelment of greenhouse fabricators under Government of India schemes. So from 2020, our mandate and objectives of NCPH are also changed. The recent mandates are to develop smart and future farming models such as vertical farming, hydroponics, aeroponics, solar powered integrated micro irrigation systems, automation and sensor components, manufacturers, processes for developing quality standards. To develop site-specific advisories with respect to water saving, fertilizer saving, wastewater management, recycling of plastic, etc. In agriculture sector through dedicated web portal. This is under construction now. To suggest ways and means for promotion of precision agriculture and horticulture in the country and revalidate the cutting-edge technologies with respect to precision farming. And conduct applied research, demonstrations, extensions, and dissemination of user-friendly, weather-based, agroclimatically differentiated technologies among the end users in the field of precision farming, wastewater management, and plastic engineering. To conduct impact evaluation studies on precision agriculture with a view to collect and consider data on plastic engineering applications, including agrotextiles. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We have these 21 precision farming development centers where research demonstrations and training and awareness programs for precision agriculture are given. Here is the list. I think Dr. Amrish Kumar, he is heading our PFDC in Samastipur, Bihar. Dr. Sunil Gorantiwar is heading in Rahuri. So mainly all the cutting edge technology that this 21 PFDCs. So all the industry and other manufacturers, if they are interested to have a validation with the scientists, they can get attached with our precision farming development centers, respective states, and they can work with the scientists for the validation. So next, so these are there at that time when we designed this software, and it's working well for all farmers, for dealers, distributors of the manufacturers of micro irrigation. So very easy with this software to go for any water requirement of any type of crop in horticulture at any soil. So pan India, we can work for the water requirements and for water use efficiencies and design of drip irrigation and sprinkler system with the help of these software. So different types of assignments, different types of projects we are taking in this precision farming development center. Next. So these are again the continuation. Now the researchable areas here in 23-24 onwards, what we are going to do in our precision farming development center. In next 3 months, we are going to have a digital platform crop protection, harvesting, post-harvesting, and in future the marketing aspect will also be taken on that digital platform. Mostly in the month of November, it will be launched with the hands of Honorable Agriculture Minister and Secretary Agriculture. Second, we will be all our PFDCs will be having completely automation system for irrigation, fertigation, and climate control for their greenhouses. That work also we are going to take within next 2-3 months. We are going to have the low-cost bamboo polyhouses and low-cost cable post polyhouses, shed net houses at each of our PFDCs, because every time we cannot go, all the farmers cannot go for the high-tech polyhouses, but they can start from the low-cost system. So all these low-cost systems will be developed at our precision farming development centers, and all the new crops which are coming into India, like dragon fruit, like this. I request Dr. Amrish Kumar to give a appreciation. That's why I selected you. Yeah, very good. Excellent. Okay, now we have the speaker, last speaker before lunch. Dr. Narendra Kumar. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, very good. So, Dr. Narendra Kumar, please introduce yourself. Very good afternoon to Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor. Can we reduce these formalities? No need to address us here. Okay, please stay forward, go to your business. Okay, yeah. I am Dr. Narendra, representing Rashtriya Agro Equipment. Today, my presentation title is a sustainable approach in design and development of a tractor-mounted irrigation sprayer. And next. This is a state of art tractor feature drive irrigation sprayer is being developed by our equipment is basically useful for grapes and many other crops like canopy as well as dense farming crops. So all care has been made while design and developing this state-of-art product that integrates engineering and technology with environmental aspects to make it efficient.
also minimize the human contact. Next. So these are certain glimpses are taken during the experimental trial in the field. Next. So our main focus is on to using of precise spraying technology. We have seen in recent years farmers are facing certain challenges, and now they are more aware and conscious regarding the use of as well as certain environmental impact. Next. So now coming over to the research motivation, which we get constantly, we have taken initiative and developed many equipment, often using pest and vector control that was not only indigenous but also try to use scientific approach. Air blower, and that is connected with connecting hose, and these hoses are connected with two arms, which is provided with number of nozzles equally spaced on the arm, and the air received from the blower is ultimately mixed with the liquid which obtained from the can, and this proportionate liquid is ultimately converted into fine droplets, and these droplets are used for spraying the target. So this is the flow diagram of our air, and the tank is duplicated with a control panel, and all effort has been made to provide technology while developing this particular spraying machine. Next, so keeping in view of certain challenges, we have incorporated many features in this particular equipment. 40 to 45 liters per acre. So labor is ultimately all these things translated into the cost saving for our valued farmers. Next. So certain research significance we have already considered while developing this ultra low volume spraying system. So now come to next. So now coming over to the advantages, the users can avail various advantages by using our ULV spraying machine. So the main advantage of our machine is it develops uniform droplet size in the range of 8 to 50 microns, and this new so users can adjust at any suitable angle as well as position for the maximum efficacy of the spraying. So the performance of this particular machine is from driven and tested, and certain challenges and considerations are also very important for considering or developing any such equipment. So safety measures as well as monitoring and evaluation of the pest, environmental considerations is also very important to take here. So environmental impact assessments are crucial when using ultra low volume to validate the results. So in the form, yeah. So these are some photographs we have taken during the field trial, and the copy paper is there. This is to be used for analyzing and getting the statistical data, and after statistical analysis, yes, next slide. Yes, so this is the droplet based analysis we have conducted in our in-house lab. What the data which obtained from the field trial, all the data has been duly analyzed in our full-fledged lab, having constituted with microscope. single particle and agglomerated particle. As far as single particle is concerned, here we see around 81% of the droplets are shown within the ULV range. That is more useful for efficacy, and only few percentage, around 6% here is below the ULV droplet range, and 13% droplets are goes beyond the ULV range. So as far as agglomerated particle is concerned, again the similar result is obtained here. Around 71% droplets are found within the ULV range. This analytical result suggests that this particular equipment is more useful, although we are consistently trying to improve this data and trying to reduce some agglomerated particle as well as single ULV droplets that for minimum breathing. So ultimately, I would like to finally conclude with the future aspects. So this is the need of our to scientific people. We have to approach all scientific approach researchers come forward and join and we have to develop such
Thank you, Dr. Narendra Kumar. I request Dr. Syed Ismail to give you appreciation on behalf of. Yeah. Okay, yeah, you go there. Okay. Well, we are on time. Look at your time, okay? We have three announcements.
Announcement one, we are going to give certificate of participation to you. So be there tomorrow. Hey. So all of you signed by Honorable Vice Chancellor for the certificate of participation. It's a beautiful certificate of participation. It's useful. Number two, all the members who are present here for annual or full member of AAE, you will also get a certificate. So that will be given tomorrow. Others can join, some of them join as a new annual member. Also, they joined around 7 have joined today. All of you, thank you. But then those 7 also, those who have not got this tag of member, it's not very big. Everything was done very quick, but I think this you will get it. Contact the new ones, please contact and collect it from us. I try to give. Okay, that's ready. After you complete, you can go. You just go on one floor. Third floor may be. Yeah, already I have completed. So everything is done. Thank you.
Okay, so please turn up here on time. You will start on time. Okay? Yeah. Thank you.
This number of three need. How to do this? How to do it? Now, why is it not coming?